Welcome to part 2 of our season finale, An Insider's Guide to Florence. This episode is all about our favourite places to grab a drink and the best cultural activities Florence has to offer. We hope you've enjoyed season 2, and season 3 will be all about moving abroad with some special international guests. Now let's jump back into it. We're going to move on to the fun section, and the fun section is broken into 2 categories. One is alcohol-based, and one is more cultural and events. So we're obviously going to start with the pubs. We did a Galway episode a couple of weeks ago about the town that I'm from, and we had different categories for each of our favourite places. So we're just going to stick to pretty much the same categories there. Wine.
First of all, beside the Centrale Market is a very local wine place. It's a wine shop with a tiny bar counter in the front with about 3 or 4 seats. You can stand outside on the path and drink your wine there. It's called Zanobini's, or Fili Zanobini on Google Maps if you're looking it up. It is a very old school classic bar. You can go in there, you can get 3 glasses of Chianti as a tasting for $8.50. You can get a regular Chianti Classico, and a Gran Reserva. They have just a big bowl of crisps on the counter. It's very much where all the local guys hang out. Really cool, fun experience. You can also buy whiskies, liqueurs, spirits and wines in there as well.
Cormac absolutely loves it. For me, I feel it's a bit like we're standing in a shop. But if you get a really nice bar counter stool, and I have to say the staff are absolutely amazing, and if you get that 3 taster kind of menu, you get full glass of wine, but the lad actually gives you a spiel. So
he gives you big.
For €12, you're getting a wine taste.
Yeah, and then other house wines range anywhere from €2 to €3, €4, depending on the quality. But like even the €2 wines are savage. Also have like 1 or 2 lagers by bottles. So if you're not a wine lover, you can still go there and enjoy. But that's incredible.
Yeah, and the beer is actually okay.
Yeah, another place in for wine we've mentioned already is Osteria Nuvoli, so the Crostini place. They just have a fantastic selection of Tuscan wines, very classic server style. 2 brilliant bartenders behind the counter, lashing out the wine, the vino. They give you a little taste of things if you want it. And you can see everything that they have available that day by the glass on the counter in front of you.
And they ship internationally. Then this is your favourite place.
This is my paradise. This is my happy place. This is where
I had told Cormac to submit a CV here, and like maybe in a couple of months. Oh, did you?
I did submit a CV there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they never got back to me. I know, they must have hired someone else. Enoteca Alessi. So again, it's about two blocks away from the Duomo, and it is a huge, just monster machine. It's a liqueur store. It has a gigantic wine cellar that's probably about 100 meters squared. Downstairs, they have a little restaurant on the side. Then they have a shop selling artisanal products of like chocolates, marmalade, different cooking, aperitivos, teas.
Yeah.
Very like, it's kind of like our McCambridge's in a way.
Yeah. And in the cellar downstairs, then they've got huge long tables that can fit up to 24 people, and they do wine tastings there. So you can book it as a group or you can join a group there.
So it's completely like huge room down the back as well of all their vermouths, their gins, their spirits, whiskies, international and local. And they have a few tables in there as well where you can sit down surrounded by alcohol, have your few like tasting boards. They have a lot of different varied style tasting boards depending on the price you want to pay and what you want to taste.
If you're looking for any type of alcohol in the world.
So yeah, like I recommended to some clients in work where they want a nice bottle of bourbon to finish their night of the holidays. And it's like, okay, go there. Like they'll have it for you. They'll have a good recommendation. Go there and enjoy. So if you just love spirits and different varieties of alcohol.
And if you're looking for some non-alcoholic options, they're the best option as well.
So yeah, if you're looking for non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic gin, Prosecco, all that kind of stuff, they're just like a very artisanal place that has a
fun atmosphere.
Boris.
Just go to Boris. Just go there immediately, as soon as you get off the train.
But Boris is not the name of the place.
No.
He is the man who runs it. He is Fidel Castro's long-lost relative.
Yes.
It is
if it's not
scary.
him in hiding.
If it's not him in hiding, I don't know what. He is his doppelganger. He's a Cuban cigar in his mouth at all times. He's just an absolute enigma of a character. you could sit down in his place, which is just around the corner from the train station. Beautiful, like hand-painted tables outside.
That's what it's called. Antica
Enoteca
SMN.
Osteria SMN.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. You sit down there for 20 minutes and you might not get service, but you'll just be sitting there laughing at what's going on around you. The local clientele that drink there are all absolutely batshit crazy. They play Cuban music. I arrive, you arrive.
They
just start playing like Irish music. They play Thin Lizzy now because we got them into Thin Lizzy just on the streets. For us, especially Irish people, we love people watching. It's probably the best place to watch people.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Because it's a nice, busy, pedestrianised street. There's always people walking up and down.
Yeah. They also do meat and cheese boards. They do spicy sandwiches. And so they do a little bit of food. They've got really cute painted tables. In the summertime, it's such a vibe. I feel like we're in the south of Italy whenever we're there. It's just like loud music, crazy people, cigars going. It's open until midnight and the cocktails are lethal. So just be careful.
Yeah.
Like,
mojito is about 80% rum.
Yeah, one cocktail. If you're not a big drinker, then one cocktail is like 3 drinks or 4 drinks. So
just be careful.
Yeah.
Now, your favorite bar in all of Florence.
I don't know why. Well, no, I actually know.
You do know why. You have your exact reasons laid out on a list somewhere.
So, Il Triple, I mentioned it previously, is an Irish bar, but it's not really. It's just like a rock bar, a motorcycle bar. It used to be, I believe, a little bit rough ready. It was a motorcycle club.
It was a big motorcycle club. Apparently, there used to be like 20 Harley Davidsons parked outside every day.
Now it's not that at all. It's a very, very chill. There's even it's almost like a family establishment. They have multiple televisions on the wall, so all the lads can watch football. If the football's not on, then they play really, really good rock music from all different decades. It is the cleanest bar I have ever been in my life. It is the most organized. I don't know if the person who runs it has OCD or what it is, but it is. We've even seen in their stock room by accident, and it is.
Oh, I wanted to charge my phone. He was like, "Come with me. Come with me. We'll plug it in." I went into their stock room, and oh my god, like the shelving organization. There's OCD for sure.
It's like, absolutely beautiful. And then
bartender's dream.
Right in the middle of the bar, it looks almost like a confession booth. But you walk in, and it is a very mini smoking area, which is obviously indoors, fully ventilated. Maybe 4 people can fit in there, which means that it's air conditioned during the summer, but you also don't have to go out in the cold during the winter, which is amazing. Lovely bar counters, or like a lovely bar counter with bar stools. They offer a free shot for every 2 drinks that you have.
More or less.
They give you snacks. So that keeps Cormac happy and ticking away.
Oh, it's like little pretzel bites, crisp peanuts, big plate as well. They offer to like reserve you all the time.
Yeah.
They do happy hour.
They do
I think
happy
it's only
hour.
like 50 cents cheaper on happy hour, but hey, still 50 cents cheaper.
They do happy hour, and then also like you're like we've never done it, but like you're able to bring in the Chinese from across the road. So like
there's a restaurant next door, pizzeria as well. So there's like 3 or 4 restaurants in the vicinity that you're allowed to. And they will order it for you, and they also have their own small kitchen, I believe.
Yeah. So the staff are just super nice. I don't know. I love going to a dark, not so dingy, but a dark, clean bar where I can listen to my favorite kind of music. I don't have to get too hot or too cold to have a cigarette, and I just love it. Yeah. I just love it. I'm really, 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 really feckin' annoyed that we lived across the road from it.
We lived
for
like
so long.
Less than a 10-minute walk away, and we didn't know about it. And then we moved to about a 40-minute walk away.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but it's our special little trip now.
It is our special little trip. I'm not a Guinness drinker, but where is the best pint of Guinness?
Finnegan's via Sangalo.
And are you biased in that, or?
No, I'm not biased at all, because I literally held the technicians hostage in there and not let them leave until they changed the gas levels on the pint of Guinness. So I know for a fact that it's the best pint of Guinness in town.
Yeah, like
there are 1 or 2 runners up. Fiddler's Elbow on San Marino Valley would be a runner up, and I tasted 1 pint on Chipper Train. It wasn't bad, but the best one has to be Finnegan's.
Yeah, no, you've worked hard to get it.
Yeah.
Then a late night pub. So if you're not looking for like a nightclub or a super, super busy place, then Fiddler's Elbow It's on Santa Maria Novella Square, quite central. There's a nice outdoor seating area. They stay open till 2. If there's a match, though, just avoid it like the plague. But if there's no Florentina football, then you're golden. And then we already mentioned Caffe Notte as well. Caffe Notte stays open until
1 a.m.
1 a.m. Okay. The best selection of drinks. So somewhere, if you're going with a group, someone drinks wine, someone drinks beer, someone drinks cocktails.
Yeah.
So my first one would be Dondino, which is just off the square of Santa Croce. It's a little bit of a restaurant as well. They do really nice sandwiches, but they just have something for everyone, and it's all high quality, and it's not super expensive. A little bit pricier than the average because you're sitting out on this Santa Croce square. But if you're with a fussy group, it's one of the best.
So as well, another best selection for me would be the Old Stove Irish Pub. It's right bang smack in the centre of town.
It's right by the Apple store.
Yeah, right by the so Piazza della Repubblica. It's just a really nice, like modern style Irish pub. The outdoor area is like nice, soft, velvety couches. You have TVs outside, so we want to watch the football.
It looks super fancy, to be fair.
It looks extremely fancy. It's apparently the actual oldest Irish pub in Florence, even though the Fiddler's Elbow says that it's the first one. But talking to locals and a lot of bar staff, the Old Stove was the original Irish pub in Florence. And it's lovely. And they do a good happy hour, and they have a nice selection of different beers. They have some good IPAs.
And they're one of the cheapest in the city now for actual pints. Like if you're a larger
for an actual pint. Yeah, not because in Italy they do the medias, the medium beers, which is 400 mils versus obviously the 500 ml pints. So
for the students, for the kids,
for the young ones.
If we actually have a lot of an older demographic who listen to this podcast, but if you're coming with your kids, or if you're a student somewhat listening to this,
or if you're just looking for a really atmospheric place full of lots of people,
if you're up all night down to party
with a lot of American students in Florence,
God,
so you get through this quickly.
Energy, Jesus Christ. So Lion's Fountain, it's another Irish pub, but it stays open until 2:30 in the morning. It's full of Americans. It's hip happening from about 9 o'clock onwards. It's not the cleanest bar in the world. It's not my favorite bar in the world, but if you're looking for a late night haunt, then there's always good music, good crack.
We've more than enjoyed it there during the day when the demographic is slightly older. And, that kind of 3-4 o'clock before it gets too mental in the evening, and sit out there and have a few.
And they have a little side room as well. So I'd recommend going to the side room and just getting your drink and plastic.
If you're looking to get a private party, it's a load of you as well. That side room is mental. So there you go.
The next one is Red Garter. We've never been in the nightclub section of it. We've only been in the restaurant, which then turns into a bar after 10 p.m. Have we?
We went into Red Garter.
We did.
Oh
my God. Okay.
We're keeping this in the fucking podcast.
Oh my God.
So yes, Red Garter, love. Do you remember it? I feel like I've just initiated the fear.
Oh my God. Okay. So Red Garter is an Americanized style pub and restaurant in one section. They do steaks, they do burgers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, chicken wings, fried food.
Yeah, kind of like what's it called? Do they have them here as well?
Like Eddie Rockets, kind of like.
What's the international?
Oh, sorry, the Hard Rock Cafe.
It's kind of like a cheapo version of the Hard Rock Cafe. So they've got a pub and then they've got a nightclub attached to it that opens at about 10 o'clock. So
and they do this. It's just famous for karaoke. They do karaoke every single night. Where all the students go.
You'll have such a good time that you won't even remember going there.
But we were sitting in the line, though, with the bar in the night and waiters to eat. So we used to walk back out to the bar in the restaurant to get our drinks and come back and watch the terrible.
But we didn't go hunting in the nightclub, right? We didn't wander in too deep.
No, because the nightclub's not really a nightclub. It's just a massive arched room with a tiny stage.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
It's not a nightclub. It's not technically.
In my head, it was like, what's it called? Blob, or what's the one that we went to? Space. Yeah.
Jesus.
And then a final last mention is for Space. It's the only nightclub that we've been into in Florence. But if you're 18 and looking to go dancing, it was a pretty fun night.
And if you're a lot older than 18 and you like going up to a bar where they turn around and say, "Where's your ticket?"
Yeah, you have to go buy tickets.
You have to go to another bar to order your drinks, get a ticket, then queue up at the actual bar
it's
to
a
get
nightmare.
your drink.
Yeah, if you're over the age of 21, just
I think I try to change my gin and tonic to like a gin lemonade. Mouth like, well, your ticket says tonic. I'm like, oh my god, okay,
Yeah.
just give me the drink.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. Price, we've got 2 places and they are both around the Sant'Ambrogio area, because that's where all the locals drink. One is called Druggaria.
Druggaria. It's like, I always think for Ireland, I think of Drogheda.
Yeah, it looks like Drogheda, yeah.
Droghedeoria.
But it's a tobaccoria during the day and they serve coffees and then they serve kind of cocktails and Prosecco and stuff. It's super cheap. Like a Hugo Spritz, €5. A glass Prosecco is €4-5.
They give you a little plate of
pizzas, yeah.
Pizza. Little chopped up cubes of pizza, and they're actually pretty nice.
So yeah, all Italians on a Friday or Saturday night, you're definitely not getting a table. Everyone just stands out in the street with their glasses. But during a weekday, I think it's actually really nice to just go there and get a cheap kind of aperitivo. And then the other one is just, again, it's, Italians, they don't really do pubs. They do these kind of cafes that serve coffee and food during the day. And then they might serve a few like glass of wine or spritzes. So Sisters Bar.
Yeah.
It's only open until like 7:30. It's a tobaccoria and €3 glass of Prosecco. It's right by the Viale. It's not super pretty, but it's a mother-daughter. They run the show. They're great crack.
They're hilarious. It's just like, if you're staying over that side and you just want a little pit stop, it's perfect. They do little sandwiches and little bits of bites and stuff. And it looks pretty nice. The food, I mean.
Yeah, it's just cheap, cheerful. If you're really on a budget but want to go out for a glass of wine.
Yeah.
It's fine. The best smoking area, I've already mentioned Deal Trip or Tray because it's just absolutely insane that you can
smoke inside.
We just want to talk about general outdoor areas. There's a few like beer gardens or squares that might have little kiosks. So the first one that we spoke about in our first ever podcast is Rondinella. It's a Turcolo. You need to bring cash. It's right by the river. It's super cute. Go and listen to our first podcast if you want to hear about that. The next one that we found is Rosie's.
Rosie's is super cute.
And it's near Punjab Kebab. So
it's near Punjab Kebab and our anniversary place.
Yeah.
So Rosie's is just it's a hexagonal little kiosk. They serve beer, wine, cocktails.
The greatest mojito I've had.
They do the biggest mojitos like of all time.
They're €8, but you just need one mojito and you'd be flying out.
It's ridiculously large.
So yeah, apparently in the summer it's just all Italians. They all sit out there. You can bring your own booze and sit in the square as well.
You just sit in the park. It's just a beautiful little park, a little kiosk, and if you just want to sit in the sun, because it's one of the biggest clearings as well in the north side of the city that actually has like a sun trap, and it's beautiful, and you can just sit up there. I think it opens at like lunchtime during the day,
2:00, yeah, and then it's open until 2 a.m. So I would actually say if you go to a pub, a lot of pubs kind of tend to close around midnight. Yeah, if you're looking for a little after party and the weather is good,
get a bottle of wine,
rock up to Rosie's.
Get a mojito. Absolutely ideal.
Yeah, and then the final outdoor space is Fico Bistrot.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a trek. It's across the main Viale. There's a train track that runs right across the north section of the city. But across there, it's a bit out, but it's a beautiful, massive park. It's a huge, huge park. And little bistro and a lot of tables outside. And they do nice like fried calamari, like seafood mixes. They do burgers, nice cheap drinks. And it's just a really relaxing, quiet atmosphere.
Yeah, if you're sick of the tourists.
Yeah, you just want to kind of get away.
Our worst service award, but I keep going back there.
We keep going there, but they're just not the best service ever, is Pop Cafe in Santo Spirito.
So Santo Spirito, we love going there. Again, we've said that it feels very Parisian, but Pop Cafe has the best variations in drinks for the best price. They're just not necessarily the best staff there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So they can be a little bit rude, but again, if you go to Santo Spirito on a Monday night where they're playing music in the middle of the square and it's very scenic.
It's hard to tell who works there because there's no actual like uniform. So you just see a guy like standing by the door chatting to a few locals on the couple of bar stools right outside the door. You don't know which one of them actually works there.
No, it's very annoying. And if you go into the bar and try and order, they tell you to sit down, but then they don't come outside.
Yeah, and there's like a shit ton of tables out there. So
Yeah.
it's just like, and there's like 3 staff. So it's just a bit chaotic. It's just like, it's a perfect one and done place because when you sit down the first time, they get you. But if you're trying to reorder, they won't necessarily be as attentive as other places.
Then happy hour, we already mentioned Il Trip or Trade.
Yeah.
It's great. It's maybe only 50 cents cheaper, but go and check out Il Trip or Trade. You have to.
You'll get your free shot as well. So there you go. You know?
Yeah. And then the other one is the Hidden Pub.
Yeah, so that's on Piazza Carmine. So again, in the Oltrano district, about 3-minute walk from Santa Spirito.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's just a nice, tiny little pub.
It's a little bit of a rock bar. It's got
rock bar.
It's got a, what's it called, foosball table out the back.
Foosball table and like the plastic darts out the back.
They sometimes do gigs, yeah.
It's a cute locals little bar. It's
very local.
And they do probably one of the cheapest pints as well, especially during happy hour. I think you can get a €4 sour pram yeah. It's just cheap,
little outdoor seating area. There's maybe only 8 seats in the outdoor, and it's usually full of locals. But yeah, if you want to go and just meet the locals,
and hang out with them,
listen to a bit of rock music, then
the way to go.
Cocktails. Do you want to talk about your one first?
My one.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite one is just right beside the Centrale Market again. It's called Sabor Cubano. It only opens at 7:00. It is a traditional Cuban bar. It's run by a Cuban family that lived here for 20-25 years.
It's about 2 meters away from the central.
Oh yeah, it's literally right there. But yeah, they open at 7. It's just like, it's in a little arched, like pillared little section, so it like has a nice little kind of cover from the sun in the evening. And yeah, traditional cocktails. They do the authentic Cuba Libres with honey. They serve cigars with some of their cocktails. I have to say, like, I've gotten daiquiris there, I've gotten mojitos there, I've gotten a variety of different cocktails, and they've all been like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 standard. Mm-hmm. The price is fair for the cocktail of that quality as well. Yeah. So if you're just like looking for a good cocktail, they play the music.
I would just recommend, if you are a solo traveler, or especially a female solo traveler, it can be a little bit dodgy around that area at nighttime.
Yeah.
So, I'd say if you're in a couple, grand, or if there's more than one of you, then fine.
Yeah.
But just a little bit dodgy around that area. So keep an eye on your bags or bring a bum bag with you. It's just
the staff there are really, really good, but it's just the area surrounding it.
It's one of the only places in Florence that I would say to watch yourself at any time. But yeah.
And your favorite cocktail place?
I can't believe I'm actually saying this.
I know, yeah.
It's called Mysterium. I used to walk past it thinking it looked like a swingers club or something. It was just not my vibe at all.
But it's like that street itself has like bars called Mad, Soul and Spirits. And
it's just a very like beyond hipstery. It's just not my vibe.
Very hipstery street.
I was never going to go in there, and then our good friend Jeremy, who is in an upcoming podcast, he was like, no, I know these guys, come in, it's really cute. So I went in, and maybe because I was introduced to it on a different scale, it's somewhere you'd need to be a little bit dressed up, I feel, to go in there.
Yeah.
And I'm not someone who really dresses up, but I got a Cosmopolitan in there, and it was the best Cosmo I've ever had in my life. Whenever I'm walking past there now in the evening time, I'm always like, I'm stopping off for a Cosmo, because it's just like the most refreshing, like,
to get a good Cosmopolitan, anyone who likes cocktails know, you do a good Cosmo.
Yeah.
And it's like a nice salmony pink color, you're lying.
Mm-hmm. So they're really, really good. It's quite on the pricey side. Perfect for a date night. If you guys are into cocktails, go there, have 2 or 3. You'll be blowing a budget, but it's if you're into your cocktails, the guys all really, really know their stuff. They're really into cocktails. If you even tell them ingredients that you like, they'll go and make their own. They're really fun, and they're there to please, and they're there to serve you some really, really nice alcohol.
So kind of branching into cocktail place, but with the best view of the city, I would definitely recommend my new workplace, the Loggia.
I've heard the staff are shit there.
Staff are terrible. We're awful bastards. No, the mixologist, the house mixologist, been working there 20, 25 years. He's some incredible of his own inventions. He does all the classics as well.
What's it, the Rajan Mule?
Rajan's Mule, yeah. So it's a gin-based cocktail, ginger beer, fresh cucumber, Angostura bitters and Tabasco on top. And it's just stunning. We have a few different signature ones. But €15 cocktail, you get that amazing view.
And you do get like little kind of...
Yeah, we get like little crisps,
and
terrati and olives, like your little snacks. We do a little bit of food as well. But just for the view, the atmosphere and the quality of the cocktail, it's well worth the €15.
For me, if you were on a budget, like on a major budget, but you still wanted to go to a rooftop bar, and this is me being non-biased because I don't work there, is I would either, if you guys are cocktail fans, go up there, get 2 cocktails, book in a reservation for an hour, so you get your 2 cocktails, you get to see the view, take a few pictures, you get your nice, like, you know, little foodie bits, or go up and share a bottle of wine or a bottle of Prosecco. You can get some starting from 45, and so book in for a 2-hour, €45. If you definitely book for like a sunset time as well, that could be really beautiful. So they're my 2 best tips for the Loggia. Well, I don't drink it, but craft beer.
My favorite for craft beers is the Joshua Tree. It's an Irish style pub, but it's the classic kind of rotational tap all the time. So every few weeks you get new beers in, they get IPAs, you get sessions, they get sours. So they have their few fundamentals that never change. So they have like Peroni Lager, they have Spitfire Strong Ale.
If you're from Galway, it's the closest thing to the Blue Note that you're going to get.
Yeah.
The staff are all super nice, I have to say, and they're all English speaking as well. There's a couple of locals that hang out there as well who also speak English, and they've got a brilliant music playlist.
Brilliant music, nice, small, cozy atmosphere. Everyone ends up like talking to each other, like locals and tourists alike.
Very light.
Very light. It's a perfect winter pub, but it's a really good, like, and they're busy all day long. And yeah, it's just a really good selection. Really
they do Prosecco. They do a very limited variation of cocktails.
Yeah.
They have Peroni on draft. So if you have a lager drinker with you, at least there's something for them.
Yeah. They do even like Smithwick sometimes. They have Guinness the occasional time, sometimes Murphy's to keep the Irish kind of beers going. And then, they have like a large selection of rotational taps that like from Italy to Denmark to kind of anywhere and everywhere. If there's a good beer, they'll get it in, and I really like it there.
I've brought a lot. I even brought my parents there, and I really thought my dad wouldn't like it because my dad's a bit pernickety about bars. My parents were just like, we don't want to leave. Like, the playlist is good. There's a lot of variation and stuff. My dad didn't like the first 2 beers maybe that he got, where he kind of tasted a bit and be like, oh no, that's not for me. But he was willing to try. And, you know, it's...
But the fact that he was willing to stay after like the first beer,
that just shows the vibe. So our final section is about cultural things to do that may not necessarily totally be revolved around alcohol. The first place that we want to mention is Cascina.
So Cascina Park, it is one of the largest, it's the largest park in Florence. It's full of different activities. It runs for about 3 or 4 kilometers. It has a golf course. It has a horse racing track. It has community swimming pools with bars and restaurants. It has a huge amphitheater that has different gigs, concerts, and events on all the time.
And also Avenged Sevenfold and Tool are coming to play over the summer. So I'm very torn.
The big time. Who are you going to choose?
I actually don't know because they're playing the same week. But still. So yeah, there are actually loads of gigs going out in Cascina, but lots of people just don't know about it. So.
Yeah, and then every single Tuesday, they also have a huge flea market out there with a little bit of a farmer market thrown in as well. So antiques, different clothing, vintage. And it's meant to be incredible.
And it's right by there's a little children's kind of amusement park. So they've got like bumper cars, they've got slides, they've got those little like shooting games.
Kiosk bar out there as well, but there's like gelato for kids, and we got drinks there before.
They do burgers there as well.
Yeah, it was
nice greasy burgers.
It was really cute.
There's people out there playing volleyball, there's people playing football out there. So
a lot of cricket being played out there.
Yeah, randomly.
A lot of cricket.
Yeah. But Cascina Park, it's just, I would recommend if you're going there for an event, just like the horse racing or the golfing, whatever, get a bike. Or even just hire a bike, one of the rentable bikes, because it's quite long. It's longer than you would think.
So there is also one of the trams from the city centre runs directly through Cascina, It stops off about a quarter of the way up the park and then crosses the river.
Yeah, it's not the whole way through, but it'll get you
No,
a
but
bit of the way there.
if you don't want to walk, if it's really hot, get a tram from the centre, get out in Kishina, and then walk the rest
Or
of
if
the way.
you're coming with kids and you have a pram, then that's definitely a really good option.
Or you can get a taxi to about halfway down the park as well, where a main road comes in around where the horse track is. So there's a main road, and you can get a taxi to that point. That is also where the flea market and a few of the different events happen as well.
And the swimming pool is about a quarter of the way in. The swimming pool is quite cute. There's a restaurant, there's a bar. It stays open until about 7 o'clock. And yeah, just very, very cute.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about like the cultural things that you have to see when you come. We're not the biggest art majors here.
No.
I do have a master's in arts policy and practice.
I was going to say, yeah.
I should probably take more, like my mother's father will kill me. But the biggest places are obviously go and see David. I pay the €20. Book your tickets in advance.
Don't be sitting out in a queue for an hour and a half.
It will take you 40 minutes round trip, if you just want to go in and see David and get the F out, it'll take you 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it is awesome. Like it's incredible.
It's being there and actually, because you see so many like replicas around the city and like photos of David, everyone's
they're only a third of the size, the replicas. It doesn't actually show what it really looks like, but it's incredible. Yeah. The Uffizi, if you're a big art fan, then I would highly go in. Don't just go in to take your picture with Venus. It's not worth it. It's only if like you're a proper art fan. Otherwise, I would avoid it like the plague. It does have a huge, like there's so much like modern art, old art, there's Caravaggio's, there's so much to see there. But unless you're a true art fan, don't just go to say that you went.
It is one of the quicker queues on the first Sunday of the month when a lot of the museums are free.
But it's one of the busiest. So
it's one of the busiest, but one of the quicker.
Yeah. So. The best place that we would recommend, if you're not so much of an art major, is to go to Pitti Palace, because they have a really nice mix of historical stuff. They've got art stuff. They've got modern stuff. They have a little fashion exhibition. And then there's the Bobbly Gardens out the back. So I think there's a real mix of stuff. There's something for everyone there. And it's not just necessarily like, do you remember that painting that you saw in a book one time? I think it's a lot more open to people who might not be as culturally educated as a lot of the tourists coming to Florence might be.
And you get to see Napoleon's toilet.
You do.
And his bath.
His bath is tiny.
Tiny.
I don't want to be dipping my feet in it.
I wouldn't fit in it myself.
And then the Science Museum, it's been featured on loads of like the Travel Man program. A lot of travel programs have featured it. It was closed for almost 5 years. It used to be free. Now it's €15 to pay for obviously the whole restoration.
It has like a lot of like taxidermy.
It is on my bucket list. I love a bit of taxidermy.
It looks incredible.
We're very excited to go there this summer. And two friends of ours went who would be large, like they would be museum goers, and they said they spent 3 hours there. So I reckon we'll probably kill an hour and a half out of it. So
they said that the interactive section that they just renovated after being closed for the 4 or 5 years, it's really, really cool, and it's well worth paying to go in. So yeah, absolutely.
The next one was, we did a whole episode, a bonus episode about day trips and bus tours. So this episode has been long enough. Just please go and listen to that one. We would highly recommend the day trips.
Yeah.
And I would do the 2 cities rather than the 3 city one.
Yeah, I do the 5.5 or the 7 hour tour is plenty. 5.5 without lunch is perfect.
Yeah. The biggest recommendation.
This has been the biggest change of heart that we've had.
Yes.
So there is a load of golf carts in Florence that offer tours of the city. We just thought they were like very much like tourist tramps or like rich, lazy tourists who just
look at those ages.
Why would you pay so much money when like Florence is very much a walking city? But to go, if you're here for a short time and you want to fit everything in without being completely exhausted, go on a golf cart tour. We went on one with my parents who were over, who my father isn't the most maneuverable man anymore, so he wasn't going to walk the whole city to see things because he couldn't. We got a golf cart tour with Marcello, who is my friend from the pub.
I was sickened we didn't do it before.
Oh, like we just looked back at so many people that came over. We were like, yeah, no.
You had it right.
Yeah, we should have brought you on this.
Oh, God, yeah. And just even for ourselves, when we first got to the city, it was the height of the heat. We were walking like 20,000 steps, 25,000 steps a day.
I'm telling you, lads, walking up Piazza Michelangelo Hill
in 40 degree
heat. Like, you get up there and then you just stay there because you just don't want to come back down.
You just have to wait for the sun to go down.
Yeah. Everyone watches the sunset. It's like, right, we can head off now.
But yeah, the golf cart tours are absolutely amazing. And you get you get a guided tour as well.
For 4 of you, it's about anywhere between 40 and 60 euro, depending on how much of a tour you would like. You can do it with or without Piazza Michelangelo, and that will heavily affect the price.
Yeah, but I think it is money well spent. And that leads us on to the next thing, which is, if you've listened to our podcast in the past, especially about different cities, I'm always like, bus tours, get on a hop on, hop off bus tour. Definitely in Rome, it's one of the best experiences that you can do.
Yeah.
In Florence, the buses don't fit in the narrow streets.
In the city centre.
So you can't actually get around Florence in the bus tours.
I think you can see one of the most famous churches in that day. No, not even. Sorry, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
you can't even. Yeah,
no, you can't. So that's where the golf carts obviously came in. So just picture that you're paying twice as much as maybe a typical hop on, hop off bus, but you really get an in-depth tour. They bring you right up to the front door. They give you a whole spiel. It's only 6 of you. You can ask questions. It's like way more intimate. And the bus tour, just avoid like the plague because you don't get to see anything.
And a lot of the golf cart tour guides, especially Marcello, our one, are just characters. They're just crazy, want to have fun with you, want to give you the best time ever. It's incredible. We would recommend as well, obviously, Florence is right in the heart of the Chianti Hills, so amazing wine. We talked about the wine tours in our last episode. You can book the wine tours. It's great. If you don't have time and you're just in the city, I would recommend going to Enoteca Alessi, which we mentioned before.
Cormac's dream job.
My dream job, because it's just a huge wine cellar. They have a load of different beautiful wines, and you can kind of structure your own tasting. And also Zanobini's Chianti Classico tasting is really good. €8.50.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily need to go to a vineyard to do the wine tasting.
No, all the restaurants as well have their own really fantastic section of wines, but Alessi and Zanobini for just a small tasting is really, really good as well.
The next one is, again, trying to save your feet, because I will say, especially if you're doing multiple cities in Italy, or even if you just come to Florence for a couple of days, your feet will be destroyed. And getting a bike or an electric bike, just renting one, only do this if you are an experienced cycler. There are no cycle lanes in the city centre of Florence. I'm a very nervous cyclist. I would never, ever, ever. It has taken me 2 years to get used to cycling a bike here. And my bike just got stolen last night, so I'm very upset.
Let's not talk about the bicycles.
But if you are a very confident cyclist, get an electric bike. It's the best thing. Just rent it for a couple of days, super cheap, happy days.
Right in the middle of the centre is a nightmare. The streets are all cobblestone. There's huge potholes. You have to be so careful. Traffic is everywhere. Deliveroo cyclists are just the worst. It's
and
like
Cormac is someone who can cycle without touching the handlebars,
Oh, I've been on a bike since I was like 7 or 8, mountain biking all my life. Like, it's still a nightmare to go through the city. So just be really careful. If you want, I'd recommend, we have a friend called John who's from Scotland. He rents out electric bikes for going into the Chianti Hills.
Few doors down from Finnegan's.
We'll link his website as well. And yeah, he will orchestrate a whole tour for you and send you out into the countryside. Really good guy.
He gives you like a map, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a huge map in the store and he links out the roads that you'll take and he gives you an actual map.
Yeah. And if there's any issues, he'll come and pick you up straight away. So that's really cool.
Shout out to John.
If you're spenny, if you've got a load of money.
If you're doing a once in a lifetime trip and you have the blank check to have the best experience ever.
If you've won the lotto, lads.
Yeah.
Do the hot air balloon from Florence to Pisa.
It looks incredible.
You wake up super early in the morning. I think it starts at like 5 a.m. You have to be up for. It only operates during the summertime, really. But it's a hot air balloon from Florence to Pisa. I think it takes 2 hours in total. It looks incredible.
6:30 to 7 a.m. in the morning. You look up during sunrise and it's just the sky is littered with beautiful hot air balloons.
Yeah.
And it just looks insane.
So to see Florence from the sky, I'm sure it's a beautiful experience because they don't do any like obviously helicopter tours or anything like that. So the hot air balloon is the only way that you would see Florence from the sky. So if that is something in your budget, then go and take a look.
Go for it.
Or if that's something in your wheelhouse where you wouldn't be absolutely terrified. I'd die. Could you imagine?
No, you
crying?
trapped in a basket and sky. No way.
No,
Jose.
That would not be a beneficial thing. For on the ground, nice.
Keeping your feet firmly on the ground.
Yeah, so for some nice little excursions or things to do, two that we would highly recommend through Airbnb or TripAdvisor would be the tipsy tours.
Yeah.
They bring you out in the piss, you pay a certain fee, they bring you out, they give you like a load of different cocktails. You have the crack, especially as a solo traveler. It's a really fun way to meet people.
You can join a group. They bring you around. They play loads of different drinking games, bar games. They show you classic cocktails. They give you a taste of different spirits and liqueurs.
Yeah, and
they're all based in really like vibrant, busy bars, and it's meant to be an incredible tour.
Yeah, they're super, super nice as well. The guy that runs it, we've heard really, really good things about him as well. Yeah. So fair play. He's running a brilliant show, and especially if you're looking to meet some people, that'll be the way to do it.
Yeah.
The other one is the pasta cooking courses. We've never done them, but I've had a couple of friends come to Florence and do them. A lot of places they'll teach you how to make pasta and maybe like a tiramisu. So you do like a 2-hour cooking class and then you all get to eat at the end of it. Sometimes there's a bit of wine included. They can be very pricey from my perspective, but if you're just coming to Florence for once in a lifetime, you want to do an activity that's maybe not necessarily based around alcohol, just doing something fun. I wanted my mom and dad to do it just because my dad has never cooked in his life, so I thought it'd be the funniest thing to book it for them.
And he would burn toast.
He'd burn, oh god, yeah.
No, he's mastered toast now.
He'd burn a plate in the dishwasher. That's what he'd do. So but yeah, so the pasta cooking courses, there's so many different cooking courses, but we'll link the most highly reviewed ones from our friends.
Yeah, and there's a couple of good ones on Airbnb experiences where you go to someone's house and you do like a little meal there and a little bit of a tasting course, and it's meant to be really cool.
And then the two final things is just where to get your information or where to book stuff, and get your guide. I keep on saying get your guide. It's no affiliation. We are not making any money off saying get your guide. It's just the best value for money that we have found. And if there's ever any issue with an experience that you have, I feel like Get Your Guide is really good about refunding and communications and just getting back to you. I just think that they're really professional.
Fantastic website, really well run, very simple to use. I can use it. So,
Yeah. And that's a really good place to, buy your cultural experience, like your tickets to David or your tickets to your pasta, your wine tours, anything like, and it's just an all-rounder. And then the final one we've already mentioned in a couple of our prior ones, but it is the Florentine magazine. If you go on to the florentine.it, it will show you all of the upcoming events for the week, special launches. It's just what's happening. It's like a classifieds for English speakers in Florence, and it will show you all the different things that are going on. And you might come across an event that you maybe, a once in a lifetime, or different festivals that might be going on. They just, they're running a good show there. So fair play to them now.
Yeah, no, it's really good information. They'll tell you like what markets are on, what pop-ups are on. It's just really, really detailed and it's fantastic. And I think that's it.
Are we done?
I think we're done. We've been sitting here for 3.5 hours trying to be like, have we missed anything based in Florence? But Jesus, lads, let me tell you, at this point, if we missed anything, I can only apologise.
Yeah, so that's our 2024 guide to tourism in Florence. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM us, send us an email, whatever you want. We're always open to asking questions or
if you want to come for a pint, let us know.
So yeah, we've met a couple of podcast listeners now and had a couple of pints with them, and we always have a good time. So, we're more than happy to meet you for a couple of drinks. So long as the drinks are on you.
Ooh.
No, only joking.
No, mess. And that is a wrap on season 2.
Really?
Yeah. Season 3 next. Can you imagine? It took us 2 years.
Cormac is so excited because for season 3, we have outsider guests, so he doesn't have to do it all the time in the studio.
I'm very happy to be a part of it. You know?
Well, now because I've upped the bonus episodes, you're like, drat! Like, instead of like 10 episodes a season, I'm like, but it's really 20.
God, what's happening?
But yeah, so just to let you guys know, we have started a Patreon account, which, look, it's €5 to join per month. But we have all of our guides to Italy that we're going to be uploading. We're going to be charging on our website, but if you join the Patreon, it'll be totally free to download. And you guys will be able to ask us questions. We'll do Q&As every month, and you'll get to see like the videos of the podcast as well. We're going to be doing session podcasts, which is just us essentially getting a bit pissed and talking shy to the camera. And just general, you know, if you want to learn more about us or get some more content, then
bonus information, more like deep dives into different cultural things that we really enjoy in Florence. I know I have a few wine places and different events and stuff that's much more specialized content.
Season 3, we're finally introducing external guests. So we're going to have a mix of interviews with our friends that are here. We're going to have some mix of people based back in Ireland that we either know or work with or travel to Florence all the time. And then we'll have the little bonus episodes for ourselves. So Season 3 will be a little bit of a diversion from the past 2 seasons, but we're really thankful to everybody who's listened so far. And yeah, on to the next one.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. We'll see you in Season 3.